Hi, so we are about to start refinishing the doors and the drawer of our cabinet. The cabinet is in the middle of being, it's just finishing the stripping process, and I'm going to paint it soon enough. What we want to think about when we're refinishing is what is going to be seen by people that are looking at your furniture piece. So with this drawer here, I'm only going to be refinishing the front of the drawer, and I'm going to be refinishing this top edge, I think. I don't know. I might just stick with the front here because I don't want to go too crazy and refinish this whole entire thing for the drawer. For the doors, I want to kind of consider the same problem that we have. Looking here, I think I'm going to focus all of my stripping and repainting on the outside, possibly this inside edge here, the top, the inside, and the bottom edge. But I think I'm going to leave the back of it completely unfinished, just see how it looks. I'll do the same thing with this side here. The hardest part about refinishing doors and drawers is because it's not part of your original piece of furniture, you could drop it on the ground and, in this case, shatter the glass. So we want to be extra careful when we're applying our stripper and when you're painting your project as well, because you have to move everything around. Make sure you're wearing gloves. A lot more important than when we were working on the large piece of furniture, because you're going to be using your hands to move everything around. And if you have been using paint stripper, you'll know it's not really good stuff. Want to keep our fingers away from that. Okay, so I'm going to pour some of my stripper into my trusty coffee cup here. Good thing I always have these kicking around. And I'm going to carefully start applying stripper to this first door here. I'm going to try to avoid the glass, but stripper doesn't really hurt glass because it's inert. So if someone gets on, not the end of the world. Okay, so I'm gonna start applying my stripper. And you can apply it vertically or if it's laying down flat. Just want to make sure you want to get a nice, good coat, just like before. I think that this particular piece here has been repainted about, I don't know, probably at least 3 times, maybe 4 times. So the first layer of paint comes off really easy. But what I'm finding is I have to go over it a few times, which is all right. All right, so I've applied stripper to the whole front of this, and I'm able to do the top as well here, and the top as well here without having to move the project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on everything that I can access without moving a single thing, and then I'll move it and strip those areas there. So I let this sit for about 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, depending, and I'll come back to it. I'm starting to scrape off the paint and stripper here. I'm using a plastic scraper on this stuff because I don't know how these intricate little corners are going to respond, so I want to make sure that I'm not damaging this piece more than it already is. And as I'm scraping, I'm taking a look and seeing how much, if any, repairs need to be done to these doors here. These doors are actually fairly robust, so I think that they're going to shine up real well. Probably only going to do 1 coat of stripper on this because I don't want to risk damaging it. And then I'll move on to neutralizing the stripper with the paint thinner, and then I will paint this guy as well. Okay, so I've stripped the drawer front, and I've stripped all the sides that I want to strip on the doors here. My next step is going to be using paint thinner to neutralize the stripping agent so it doesn't affect the paint that I'm going to apply to this project. So standard paint thinner, glasses on, flag, glasses on for safety. I got my gloves still. And take and just pour a little bit out onto a rag. Not a wildly precise method, but it works. And all we want to do is just go over every part of this project that you stripped with the paint thinner. We want to let that dry completely before we move on to painting. So I have used my paint thinner on door, and I've paint thinnered the drawer front as well. I've also paint thinnered all of the stripping work that I did on this cabinet here. Again, I'm not doing the insides, I'm just doing the outside and the top. So that's all ready to go. I've got my primer paint that I had from my last video. I'm giving it a good stir. I've got a couple brushes. And yeah, I'm going to paint all this up. We'll see what it looks like when it's done. All right. The painting is done, or the priming rather is done. I got the door here, and I have the other door resting over here. The drawer front is drying up nicely. And here is the cabinet. It's all painted up. Remember, I said I'm not going to be painting the inside if I don't have to. You can see how it looks. I might have to paint the inside now that I'm looking at it a little bit closer, but that's all judgment calls that you have to make. So when you're at this stage of the game is when you can start deciding what kind of color you want to choose, what kind of finish you're looking for. If you're going to hang on to the piece yourself, it's something that you want. If it's something that you're giving to a family member, now's a good time to involve them in that discussion. If you are planning on selling it, my advice for selling a piece of furniture on Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace or whatever is keep it simple. Big, flashy, ornate things might be very cool for your kooky aunt who wants exactly that. But if you want to appeal to a broad market, that's what you should do instead. Keep it nice and simple. So I'll see you in Furniture Restoration Part 5 or 6, whatever the one after this is. I'll have a color selected, and I'll start applying that.